Hello and welcome to this quick pitch video on Robustel's new Operations Console v2 implementation inside Robustel's RCMS platform. So probably the best way to start to keep this moving fast, because I know you're all busy people, let's just recap on the great features that were in v1 and show the features in v2, the upgrades in v2 shortly afterwards. We're going to keep it really quick because there is so much inside this overlay. That is the best way to think about Operations Console. It's an overlay to the existing platform that we could spend a very long time on it. And in fact, there are some quick start videos that you can watch individually inside this section if you want to. But for today, we're just going to hit you with some value one after the other. So just quickly to set the scene. Why does Operations Console exist? So we already have Robust Link, where you can see many devices. You can see their features just one at a time. And Robust VPN is a wonderful tool for making connections to devices using OpenVPN IP addresses. So we have some great tools in there. But Operations Console was invented because customers need to manage an estate. Once you get beyond maybe 50 routers, you have to start managing things in a different way. And that is the problem that Operations Console solves. And just about 100% of everyone I've ever shown this to has said, that's amazing. You know, these are really useful tools. The challenge is to get that story across. So anyway, let's dive in. So first things first, data usage. Big conversation. It's always been a big conversation in 4G and 5G networks because you get charged for it. And what has been worse, less so these days, in the past can get charged many thousands of euros, even tens of thousands, if you go over your data allowance at scale. So what's different about this data usage view is it shows you everything on a rolling 30 days. And that helps to make what you are looking at, the data you are seeing, so much easier to process because it's always a sliding, rolling 30-day window. So you know statistically this shouldn't change if nothing else has changed. If you see any major changes in the total volume, the average volume of data usage, you can instantly infer problems. And the way that the data for the devices is listed is from high to low. So clearly, if we're on a 1 gigabyte tariff, then probably everything below here is okay. However, this device at 3 gigabytes is not okay. Something is wrong. So we can click on this tab here, and then we see when the data was used, and you can correlate that with server logs or look at other things about the system to see why you're having data overruns. And this kind of visibility at the early stages of a deployment can save some pretty nasty experiences, especially on more expensive roaming SIMs later down the path. So a unique way of reporting data usage that we believe is more uniquely powerful is number one. Number two, another view that runs as a rolling 30 days. So again, it just keeps the data more easy to understand and to assimilate. Now this is about uptime. So this is the time it's spent connected to the platform. And it goes from low to high. Data usage high to low, uptime low to high. If, like many router applications, we should be always on, then we probably want to look at these first 15 rows and understand why the uptime is anything less than 99%. And we certainly want to see why we have a 0, a 2, and a 30% uptime. So again, we can manage the exceptions. We can manage the problems first, the bigger problems first, and prioritize the limited time a technical manager or an operations manager actually has in their day to take care of these things. So obviously there's a full pop-out map as well, uses cell triangulation. Everyone loves that. You can quickly look at where devices are, should they be there, should they have moved, all the classic things. And the big value there is it's cell triangulation based by route, so you don't have to have a GPS antenna to locate it. You do nothing and you still get a course location, so that's really nice. Provisioning, we're not going to do in any detail today. It's pretty administrative, but it is nice to have the ability to fully and properly and clearly explain exactly how you want your routers configured and to document exactly how to set them up. And that can be used internally for your own staff, or if you get a third party or a Robustel distributor to set them up for you, then that's where you can use that document. And certainly when you start to get maybe 2 years after a project, you can't remember perhaps who set them up or how they were set up. So very good management. There's another topic as well that we're not going to go into huge detail. There's an installation management tool. It is quite basic, it is quite lightweight, but you can record. It's a world where an installer can record and take photographs as visual verification of an install. So there's an optional tool there. We see that generally being used a little less than most of the other features, but for a small percentage of customers that don't have something, maybe a startup, it's extremely powerful. So next we go into the tech support section. What were our learnings about tech support is we wanted to put everything useful to someone that is responsible for maintaining products and solving problems on a day-to-day basis. And that could be an entire telemetry team, or it could be one individual. Either way, you just need the information. So there's a problem at the site, we know the serial number of the router, we click start, and we get all of the useful data that we can possibly find and put it all in one place. And as you can see here, we can look at, are there any connected devices? If there should be and there aren't, or if there are and there shouldn't be, you can make huge inferences from this very quickly. Quick run through of the tech support capabilities. We can flash an LED to prove that the installer's at the right site. You'll be surprised how as rollouts get bigger and there are more people involved, there is scope for chaos. So that can be an issue. There's the remote access capability, so we can generate a URL. We have SMS control of these devices. It can be the last option. So when all else has failed, so that can be useful. The technical guys out there, the Cisco and the IT bods, I absolutely love this. You can, in real time on any of your devices, record a Wireshark trace. So generally we're interested in the 4G interface. We're going to capture 10,000 packets, and that's going to tell us all sorts of things about the application layer problems if we're seeing them. TCP issues, TLS, anything at the application layer. So that is really powerful. And as you would expect, speed test. We then have a very flexible inbound and outbound ping. Digital output control. So all of the devices that have digital outputs, you might want to set up some kind of scheduling capability for. A classic example of this is in digital signage. So in Europe now we need to be responsible with energy and carbon dioxide, so we want to switch screens off when they're not going to be looked at, and this is one of the ways it's being used. And something I'll just come back to is the remote terminal. This is a really neat addition in Operations Console v2. Commercial is broadly all of the data in one place, the most useful thing. Export all, put it in Excel, manipulate, share, whatever you need to do. And in terms of just giving an update on one of the features that's always been there and is absolutely invaluable is the estate log. The estate log that we are looking at here is a real-time view, not of one device, but of your entire estate and its behaviour. So things like change of network, online to offline, and certainly one of my favourites that makes for an amazing demo, Ethernet ports up or down. So not only does that show you very quickly, within typically about 5 to 10 seconds, that the event propagates to the cloud platform, all MQTT based. The beauty of that is not only does it show you if a cable has come unplugged or it's broken, but it also shows you if the connected equipment is rebooting or possibly failed completely. So you can actually infer a huge amount from some of these features. So we have real-time events in here. And so to quickly frame what is new in V2, number one, running reports. So in the report capability, in fact, let's just edit an existing one. There are many things on which you can report. Broadly, they come from the events. So what we saw is you can end up with thousands of events, so you end up with big data. With big data, you need to look into it. You need to analyze that big data. And so the reports can be customized to give you the specific sort of look into that detailed data that you want. So reporting or scheduled reporting on the estate log data, that's new. And within the tech support section, the ping capability, I mean, we've touched on these already, but this is the new thing. A ping, especially with do not fragment capability, gives you the chance to look at MTU settings. The digital output control, that is a new feature for Operations Console V2 as well. For many years, Robustel had digital inputs and digital outputs, but they're only really useful if you have some nice overlay, nice simple interface to make the tool useful. And there is actually a document that is available in the sports section. It shows how you connect the digital output that is being controlled, scheduled in this way, through a solid state relay. That solid state relay can then switch anything from a small DC device up to bigger mains loads. And the last thing I'm just going to touch on for Operations Console V2 is the terminal. And this actually dovetails in with another new capability which we're very excited about. And that's within Smart Roaming V3, it's been extended so you can actually change networks through this interface on any router at any time safely without any risk of losing the router. Now that may be a bit hard to follow, so let me explain. Here is the typical flow. So we ask the router, what network are we on now? And how's the RF performance at the moment? And what we find is for problem sites, the RF will be bad, the ping times will be bad, and the speed test will be bad. Clearly, this isn't a good example. This is one of the 90% plus of sites that you won't be fixing. But for those that you do need to fix, you can literally go to this entry here, and if you know, perhaps you've used Robustel's site survey, if you know there is a better network, you can change straight over to a different network. If there's a problem, it fails safe and goes back to where it was. If there isn't a problem, it changes over, and then you can run these same tests, cellular status, ping times, and you'll see, very often you'll see improvements. And we have a major customer using this methodology, and we see of site problems in excess of 50% are resolved for change of network. So that this capability is going to be covered in more detail in the remote triage video. So, but for today, hopefully that gives you a quick idea of how Operations Console can be useful to you if you are managing hundreds of routers. And there are many more features that we don't want to take up all your day. So hopefully that just gives you a quick idea. If ever you want to discuss the technical details or how to get a trial on your platform, please don't hesitate to either contact tech support at Robustel, or of course your local distributor that can give you more information. So that's all for today. Thanks very much. Bye for now.